it's okay.
I don't think that egalitarianism is true. I don't think that equality is real. I don't think any of those things are true. I don't think any of them are true.
So equality who do you think
should be real?
No.
Who do you think is
I don't even think it's possible. You want me to tell you how? Farah knows. Farah knows what I'm about to say, but I can tell you how. I can tell you how men and women can't be equal. You want me to tell you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you are to look at force in society, who would you say has the monopoly on force, men or women?
Men on brute men.
The monopoly. I'm just talking about the monopoly.
They're the stronger ones.
I feel like things are set up for men, but
Can you indicate a time in history ever, in the history of all of mankind, where men didn't have the monopoly on force?
On force, as in like physical force, though, correct? Always. They're always stronger than us.
Oh, then yeah.
That's the biology.
They have the monopoly on physical force. So the question, when you come down to rights, is who can enforce rights? Women can't enforce their own rights. Men have to enforce women's rights. So there can never be real equality. There can never be real equality.
Literally, what the fuck?
I just want to say, men are a little bit more that is like so violent in nature.
What the
Even what you just said, like,
sorry.
Every society, of course, you need force, but the fact that you feel like because you're stronger than someone, or you can overpower them, you're more entitled to some sort of
hang on,
thing.
listen, so that you get it real quick. Hang on, just hear me out.
Yeah.
Inside of your society, you have rights, right? Those rights need to be enforced, right? So somebody doesn't violate them, right? Who's the enforcement arm?
But women's rights were mostly created,
it is usually physically.
In response to
What do you
men.
do with criminals?
I mean, you put them in jail, but
and who does that?
There's never been a female officer ever.
I'm not saying there hasn't been, but who does that? Who puts them in jail? And then who guards them while they're in jail?
Men.
I mean,
Men.
I don't want to say that because I know women security guards that are fucking rappers in jail.
You're speaking always to the exception. You always look to the outlier. It's not that there can't be some women who are on par with some men. It's that as a monolith, men are the grantors of force, the grantors of rights, and here's how. Whenever you need criminals dealt with in society, it's men who are going to be dealing with the criminals. They're going to be putting them in the jails. They're going to be enforcing your laws. They're going to be protecting you while you sleep through the military and through the force there.
But have we ever given women the opportunity to be in that place?
The amazing part is right now they have all that opportunity and they still can't do it. Meaning,
I don't think they do.
Men inside, yes, they do. Where do women have less opportunity to become the enforcement arm than men in society right now? Tell me.
You just said they have a monopoly on force. I don't disagree.
Well,
I think men are protectors, and they like. If I have a husband, he's probably bigger than me. If someone comes to try to fight me, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, hold on, I got this." I'm going to expect my man to handle it.
But that's not my question.
So,
my question is, can women be police officers?
Yes.
Can they be in the military?
Yes.
Okay, can they be the prison guards?
Yes, but can
so they ever have less opportunity to be in the enforcement arm?
Because there's people in that employ them that hold up
that's
that
why
patriarchy.
It's called a policeman.
No, what happens instead is this.
Because they were only men in the
inside
beginning.
of the military and inside the police force and inside all these different enforcement arms, when you include women, you lower the standard. You lower the standard in order to bring women in. Meaning the female standards in the military.
Physically?
Yes, physically. So
but
the standard.
You need nurses in the military. You need women.
You don't need them.
Helping us, your
but they are there.
You don't need a nurse in the. You don't need.
You don't
doctors
need female
in the
nurses. You could have male nurses.
I'm just going on like more of the traditional values of like.
Yeah, what I'm just talking about an equalization of force. Men have an overwhelming amount of power and force, and so women can't actually enforce their rights against men, whereas men can change the conditions almost any time they want based on their will because they have the monopoly on force.
You don't think that's because that's how it's been set up in time and history for them?
If it wasn't for men,
Skiz Tech, thank you for the gifted 100 subs.
No, it's not. The reason that it's that way is because men are overwhelmingly physically stronger than women.
Who were women's rights protecting us from, though? I'm like, a general. Were they protecting women from other women, or women from, as you said, the people who hold the monopoly on brute force?
Well, they're not really protecting anybody from anything because they're an illusion. It's illusory.
But if you were to answer my question, the reason that women felt so strongly...
They didn't feel strongly. The suffragettes were a small portion. Most women did not want the right when I can't even get into this, but most women did not want most of these rights, okay? I can't get into it for TOS reasons, but most of them didn't even want them.
I'm not
What
disagreeing.
ended up happening instead was that it was a small collective of very weak men who really pushed through with a lot of money to push feminists and these feminist ideals through, but most women didn't want anything to do with it because, here, let me, if you don't mind, if you'll humor me, let me read these anti-arguments. This is from a original anti-suffrage flyer.
Why were the weak
I am
men
not even a feminist.
Here's what it
supporting
says.
feminism?
Special privileges. Married women are not required to contribute to support of the family. Women may work, earn money, and spend it as she pleases, may own real and personal property and dispose of it or sell it without her husband's knowledge or consent. The list goes on and on and on. Wife may have millions and cut her husband off without a cent. These do not sound like
that's
women were
crazy.
treated poorly or that they weren't treated as equals. They were treated as different because they are different.
Agreed.
And so what happened instead was that men had the overwhelming burden of responsibility, and they were forced by society, the enforcement arm, which is other men, to do their duty. And women were not forced to do that. And when we see the societal role being reversed, where women are forced instead to take on roles that require duty, they don't want it. They completely reject it. Like she said, it's basically just all me, me, me. And that's why the roles are so messed up. That's why everything is so reversed. That's why everything is the opposite of what it's supposed to be.
I'm just curious then, why do you still feel like I'm a feminist? I'm just curious.
Okay.
Let's maybe just move on. Let's move on.